Hey Queens, I'm back. Decided to switch over to tea. So I do use ice in my tea, but trust me, I'm drinking tea. Cheers. Um, so where was I? Okay, we had moved to Atlanta. Okay, so now we're in Atlanta. I am like super pregnant. We both don't know anybody here, which was good because in Texas, he's from Texas. People knew him. We would have people in and out all the time. It is what it is, and whatever. But this time, we kind of like solely depended on ourselves because like it was just like us against the world. And for you dummies who was like, well, if you was driving foreign and getting six figures, why you had to sleep on your friend's couch? Da 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 da. I hadn't worked at this point in like 2 to 3 years, and I'm pregnant, so miss me. But anyway, we ended up going to one of his teammates' house for Christmas, and there was a girl there that was their nanny. Shout out Christina and Theo. Hey, love y'all. And I'm supposed to be on bed rest because being pregnant and I have lupus, I'm really not supposed to be having children. But, you know, I just did what I had to do. So I get to this Christmas party and I'm basically just sitting on the couch because I can't move and I'm not supposed to move and I'm huge as hell and whatever. So, you know, he's mingling with his teammates and his friends and people in the house, but I'm just kind of like overgrown and like over it. So next thing I know, I see this little thing flitting around. And I'm like, okay, you know, I know how girls are when they want attention from like, you know, some rich men in the building. She's trying to, you know, get a part of it. So I didn't pay it any mind. I just was like, it is what it is. So fast forward, we leave the party, we go home. I think nothing of it. So Christina says, you know, hey, like, you know, we don't necessarily need her full time. Like, since you're on bed rest, if you kind of need her to help you, like, let me know, and then we could share her as a nanny because your baby's about to come. When I tell you the girls in Atlanta, I love all of y'all. They were so supportive of, like, everything. Like, they were, like, awesome. And so that was kind of sweet. And so, fine, let's move forward. I talked to the girl. I'm not mentioning anybody's names. But I talked to her, she was with it, and we were just waiting for me to have a baby, so cool. So one day I'm in the house and I'm washing Steven's hair, and he's like, come wash my hair in the sink. So, you know, we old school, so we go in the kitchen, and I'm like washing his hair in the sink, and his phone is on the counter. And it started ringing, his head is in the sink, so, you know, I'm a woman, I'm gonna look over, and it was the girl. I'm like, well, that's odd. Like, shouldn't she call me? But it is what it is, so I let it go. But in the back of my mind, I'm watching. So once I dry him off, I'm like, hey, it's weird that, what are we gonna call her? Becky. It's weird that Becky would call you. Like, wouldn't she call me? He was like, I don't know why she called me, blah, 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 blah. So I'm like, okay. So I ended up calling her back, and I'm like, hey, Becky, I see you just called us. What's up? And she was like, oh no, maybe it was my brother. You know, they're cool. They really weren't cool. Maybe my brother used my phone to call him, and it is, you know, I'm like, oh, okay. But I'm not dumb. So fine, we move forward, and I give birth to my daughter, Taylor. She's the cutest thing ever. Look, let me see. Here she is, look. Here's Taylor as a baby. Look how cute she is. And look. Oh, he's so cute. Okay. So anyway, we have my daughter. And probably like a few weeks later, because, you know, I have lupus, so like my healing process takes longer than a lot of people. So a few weeks later, I'm like in the bed. He's like running amok, you know. But I can't really chase after him because I have a new baby and I'm trying to heal. So fine. So then I started getting calls from people like, hey, I just seen Becky driving y'all Range Rover. What's good? And I'm like, huh? And then it was like, hey, the Hawks went to this, I don't know if it was a concert or a comedy club, but they were at, and he was there with Becky. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? So I was like, I'm gonna be honest, I was devastated. Like, I didn't know what to do. And like I said, I'm gonna give you guys the good, the bad, and the ugly. So at that time, I don't know if it was like postpartum depression or just being angry and in a vulnerable position where I couldn't do anything about it, but I'm going to admit to you guys today, there was one night and he didn't come home, and I hadn't slept or eaten in like 3 to 4 days at this point, and I did attempt to take my life. And I won't blame it on him because I think a lot of it had to do with postpartum depression, but it was just a lot. And Atlanta's a big small town, and like everybody knew my business, and it was just like a scandal. I have this new baby. It was a lot. And so I was just like, this isn't good. So I called her, she wouldn't answer, and I confronted her and I said, listen, you need to call me and let me know what's going on, because, if I don't hear from you, I'm going to assume that everything I'm hearing is true. And so when I see you, if we can't talk this out as women right now, I'm going to drop you on sight. And, so I gave it a few days. She never called me back. Whatever. I left it in the back of my mind. A few weeks later, we get a phone call and the chick is pregnant. So I'm like, see, this is why you need to stop, because this shit is terrible. But they talked about it, and she requested some monies to terminate the child, and she said she was going to go back to England and whatever, be with her family, and it is what it is. So we just moved on. I'm like, good, this bitch is gone. Like, we can get our family back together. Life could be good. But no. So let's fast forward. My daughter's getting a little bit older. And once again, he's not coming home. He's, staying in Magic City. Like, that's his spot. And I'm like, I just had a baby, and I had my other son with me at the time too. And it was just like, it's just not right. So one day I got mad and I was like, listen. And so I'm telling y'all, I'm going to tell you everything I did too. It's not like about what he did. I did some stuff too. So one night he didn't come home. And so I decided to change the locks, because I feel like if you're not coming home, you don't live here, So I did that, and that didn't work out well. So when he came home and couldn't get in his house, like, he was hot like fire. You hear me? So things just took a horrible turn, like a horrible turn, to the point where he ended up the next day kicking the actual door in with him, his mom, his homeboys, like, scared us all to death. Like, it was scary. Like, we just there sitting there watching TV and the door gets kicked in. So I'm like, okay, fine. So he's cursing me out. His family's cursing me out. They're like, you need to get the F up out of here. You and these kids, get the F up out of here, whatever. And I'm like, well, I don't have anywhere to go right now. So, and I have a newborn baby, so whatever. So then we get to our first round of court. Let's see, where is that at? Let's see. I think this is it, huh? Okay, let me get my readers on, because I don't want to misinterpret or say anything that's not true, because I'm all about facts. This is a documentary. This isn't a story. This is a documentary. Okay, so fine. Yes, here we go. Oh, and then also just letting you guys know, I know your fave had said that I was keeping him up in court all the time, but I want you to clearly look at what this says. Who's the plaintiff and who's the defendant? I'm always the defendant, and I'll show you a bunch of these. I got like tons of them. I'm always the defendant. So, on April 27th, 2004, I'm going to show you guys so you don't think I'm fucking lying again. You always think I'm lying. The plaintiff ordered defendant to remove herself and her children, including their daughter Taylor, from the house within 2 to 3 days. Plaintiff immediately denied her access to the only vehicle which she had been driving and cut her off from the financial support which she had been using for their child and in the support of their household. So I was living there at that point, okay? Plaintiff knew defendant had no other home and no other source of financial support and no other means of transportation. He expected the defendant and their infant child to quickly disappear as ordered without further assistance or support from him. Without further discussion, the following day, the defendant was formally served with process and summons. Okay, so basically I got evicted from the place I had been staying with him. So that was hard, very hard. So I have a newborn baby. And I also have my son there. And I'm barely healed from having a baby. So I'm just like, okay, this can't be happening to me. He's gonna come to his senses, like, this can't be real. Well, it was real. So the police came and they were like, you have to leave because your name isn't on the house. Which I should have put my name, and he did offer to put my name on the house, but me being dumb and young at the time, I was like, no, we're gonna be together, it's fine. Like, when I think back on it, I'm so stupid. But anyway, so I had to leave. So they told me, well, you can come back in the next couple of days and get your things, but you can only get stuff that you can prove is yours. So like, if my son had a tricycle there, I don't ride a tricycle. I couldn't prove it was mine. I couldn't take his tricycle. You know, a VCR, anything. Like, I just couldn't. This is how old this this is how old this story is. So like, I just couldn't take anything. So I was like, okay, fine. So I didn't know anybody in Atlanta. I'm from New York. So I'm like, what am I going to do? So I end up calling the same girl who nanny, who she ended up firing because we were all pissed off about what she did. I called her and I told her, this man has just thrown me on the street. I have my kids. I don't know where to go. You know, can I come over there just for a couple of days? And she was like, you know what? Let me run it by my husband, because they still play basketball together. Keep that in mind. They're still teammates. And so that's like a little bit of friction, you know, and people don't want to be in the middle of stuff like that. And so he actually called me back, love you, Theo, and said, I don't care what he think. He can be mad all he wants to. You pick up your kids and y'all come over here. Y'all stay right here in this house. And that's what we did. You know, I was upset about the whole pregnancy thing, but I thought that was resolved. Fast forward, that didn't happen. You know, the baby's here to this day. It is what it is. I mean, it's fine. But it was just rough on me. And so I had to figure out how to get a job, how to rebuild. I don't know anybody here. I don't know where, you know, he was the only person I knew here. So then we moved into Christina Ratliff's house, and she helped me with my kids, and we stayed there. And this is Taylor at Christina's house. Hey girl, look how cute she is. Who could leave this girl outside? And these were her first formal pictures. Look, can you see it? She's so cute. She's so cute. Look, this is all while we were staying at Christina's house. Cute baby. So I still didn't have any money, and so I was like, okay, I gotta figure out something, because like, she's letting me stay here, but we still have to eat, we still have to do whatever. And then I got a call from Christina, because I was staying like in her guest house, and she said, you know, well, one of the other women on the team wants to help. They heard what happened and they feel bad, and so she wants to give you some money. And I was like, I don't really know her like that, you know, because like, you know, when you're on these teams, you have like the girls you hang out with, you're cool with everybody, but like, this was one, she was very like to herself. She had a family, she had a dope ass husband, you know, they were cool, beautiful couple. So, you know, I was this, you know, girl with this baby, so we didn't really like talk a lot. But she called me and she said personally, and she was like, you know, I I've seen you through your whole pregnancy. I cannot see you guys on the street and struggling. I don't care what he decides to do. Me personally, from my heart, I want to give you XYZ just to help you get on your feet, get you started. Don't worry about paying me back. This is just something I wish I had somebody to do for me. You know, if it was me, I would want somebody to do that for me. And so she ended up writing me a check for a few $1,000s. Like, I think it was 3 or 5. She sent me a lot of money, and I almost feel like crying to this day because that was dope of her. So shout out DD Abdul Rahim. I love you. Always will. So she wrote me that check, and so I was able to kind of like move out, get me in my little apartment with me and my kids, and my daughter and my son, and we were fine. So things were good. And that was that. So we weren't really even together. He got traded to Indiana, I think. Yeah, he got traded to Indiana. But I'm still here living in my little townhouse, building my life, girls. And, I have his kids. So, of course, when he calls, I answer. We would talk. And then over time, slowly, the walls come down. You're not as mad anymore, but you're trying to make the best of it. So we became cool. And he had completely moved on. And I was raising my kids and just doing the best I could in Atlanta. So then one day he called me and he was like, hey, I have to go to Paris. Oh, no. Oh, listen. Okay, listen. Okay. I just skipped a huge part. Okay. So anyway, the girl that was pregnant, that terminated her pregnancy, ended up coming back. She had not terminated the pregnancy. And she ended up harassing us and taunting us at a mall. We were in a men's clothing store at Lenox Mall. And she came in there with her homegirl. And just harassing me. I had my daughter and I was with my man. And it's a men's clothing store, so y'all didn't need to be in there. But they were in there to kind of like taunt me. So I hadn't seen her since that phone call, and I made her a promise that day. And so I fulfilled my promise and I dropped her on site. And she was not happy about that. And she tried to press charges against me. And so he was like, you know what? There's a warrant out for you right now. You may want to come with me to Indiana and like just kind of lay low for a little while till we can figure this thing out. So I was like, okay, cool. So I ended up leaving with him the next day, went to Indiana. The season had ended, so then we went to his hometown in Houston and we stayed there for a few weeks. And then he got an offer from Adidas to go to Paris to do some stuff for Adidas. So he's like, I don't really have nobody to go with. I think he was dating, and I hope I'm not being messy because I think it's public knowledge anyway, but he had been dating Trina for a little while and they had broken up. So he didn't really have like a serious woman in his life at that time. And he was like, I don't want to go there by myself. Like, you want to go? I was like, okay, cool. But I have to go to New York and get my passport first because my passport had expired and we had to drop the baby off, whatever the case may be. So fine. And I'm telling you what date it is because I remember, because my cousin Samantha, when we went to New York, we went to her high school graduation. So the plan was go to New York, get my passport renewed, go to her graduation, leave from New York, go to Paris. And so this is her party. So this is us at that party. Once again, look how short my shorts are. Can you believe it? Just terrible. And this is my daughter. And forgive my hair in these tree braids. Listen, it was a long time ago. Don't judge. And this is my beautiful cousin Samantha. Hey, girl. And so we decided we were going to go to Paris together. So we did that. So we dropped my baby off and we ended up going to Paris together. It was nice. It was nice. Matter of fact, who was there with us? It was nice. It was me, him, Antoine Walker, and Evelyn Lozada. I gotta go find that. Hold on a second. I'll be right back.